Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Calgary Flames. Yeah, it's been a rough offseason for the Flames, but we're going to take a look at the situation around Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar. More specifically, Jonathan Huberdeau. He is a year away from UFA status. The Calgary Flames have kind of self-imploded. They tried to add back to that, adding a top-pairing defenseman, Mackenzie Weegar, and Jonathan Huberdeau, who is a 100-plus point scorer, one of the more underrated guys in the National Hockey League. There's only one catch to this, though. The Calgary Flames acquired these guys from the Panthers a year away from unrestricted free agency. So the Calgary Flames are kind of in a spot here where, yeah, they might win this trade, but they have to re-sign these guys, and we'll take a look at that today. So this is what we've been hearing from David Pagnotta. He said teams have already inquired to the Calgary Flames asking if they'd flip Jonathan Huberdeau. He didn't hear back from the Florida Panthers in a response to an extension talk that they were pursuing. And that's where we have to start today, because Jonathan Huberdeau was supposedly in talks with the Florida Panthers before the trade that he was going to re-sign with the Panthers. It was preliminary talks, and it didn't really go too far yet. And next thing you know, the next call he got, which was he was hoping to hear about an extension on his contract, resulted in him getting a trade to Calgary. So that tells you kind of where things are at. So obviously this kind of blew up in the face of Huberdeau. And, probably a little bit of, kind of, heartfelt, kind of feels there. And I think there's something to that. But it does make you wonder, how interested and invested is Huberdeau in Calgary? Because he sees what happened here, and he's probably thinking to himself, do I really want to be here long term? And he's 29 years old, making $5.9 million on his contract, and he will see a significant raise next season. No doubt in my mind, he'll at least make at least eight per year. And he's also got a modified no-trade clause. He submits a list of 8 teams he can't be traded to. So he is very tradable still. He's got a $2 million signing bonus that was paid out, and the Florida Panthers paid that before they traded him. But that's what we're looking at here. Actually, no, that'll be next year. He has a $2 million signing bonus. So whatever the case, that's where we're at here with Jonathan Huberdeau. Now, here's what everybody's bringing up, because I made the mistake of falling under that this year. Whenever you see guys from Quebec or Montreal, everybody wants to say they're going back to the Canadiens. It's an easy target, and obviously the Montreal media runs with that. And all these guys are supposed to go to Montreal this year, right? Marc-Andre Fleury, Chris Letang, Patrice Bergeron. Still in question, but I don't see it happening. All these guys were supposed to come to Montreal. And now what do we talk about this year? Pierre-Luc Dubois, Jonathan Huberdeau. You're already hearing all these guys from Montreal. The rumor is they'll go play for the Habs next year. And that's not always the case, but it does make you wonder. Now, here's the thing about teams that may be looking to acquire Jonathan Huberdeau. Okay? Salary cap. So like I just mentioned, and a lot of Panthers fans mentioned this when I talked about when they traded him, because Calgary Flames fans were defending it, saying, listen, we got, Tkachuk is a 100-plus point player. Huberdeau is a 100-plus point player. So you trade them for each other. That's kind of an even trade. You consider you also acquired a big-name defenseman in Weegar. You also picked up a first-round pick, and Cole Schwinn, who is a forward prospect. So when you consider all those things, Calgary won the trade. Except here's the catch. Because a lot of Panthers fans mentioned, yes, Huberdeau is a good player, but he's 29 years old. He'll be 30 when his new contract starts next year. Do you want to be paying a guy, legitimately, he's probably going to get somewhere between a 7 or 8 year term contract. He's going to look for max term on this next deal till he's 37, 38 years old. And that's where things get interesting. Do you want to pay Jonathan Huberdeau at 34, 35, 37, 38 years old, $8 million per season? That's where you run the risk of maybe a bad contract. And is Calgary setting themselves up for that? Because here's the Florida Panthers side of things. They paid Matthew Tkachuk, who's 24 years old, an 8-year deal. He'll be 32 when that contract is done. So that's a lot easier to stomach giving him more money, but he's only 24 years old. It's easier to invest in a guy that's 24 than the 30-year-old guy. Again, it seems like a little bit, part of the thing, but that's what you're looking at here with Huberdeau. And I think that's what the Panthers realized is he's a great player and is a guy we'd like to keep around, but logistically and money-wise, it's just not going to be in the cards for us, right? They have to re-sign Barkov. They have other guys, they have bigger fish to fry, right? And that's kind of what's gone on in Florida here. Now, that's what the real question is. What is the real value of Huberdeau? Because if the Calgary Flames were to trade him, what are you looking at here? Right? What's the value? Is it a first round pick? Is it a first and a prospect? What's the value of Huberdeau? So that's what I'm wondering here. Let me know what you guys think, because I think this will be an interesting storyline to watch. The Calgary Flames actually released a PR thing coming from the Flames saying that both Weegar and Huberdeau want to, at least dance around the idea of returning to Calgary. But again, until we see a contract, it's kind of hard to see what's going to happen here. And if I'm the Flames, if I'm their management here, who is it? Brad Treliving? Yeah, Brad Treliving, GM of the Flames. I'm looking to hammer this thing out as quickly as possible, because the longer you wait, you're just going to have what happened this year happen again next year. And I don't think they want to do that 2 years in a row. So either you lock these two guys up before the season begins, or you trade them out. And it sucks to say that, because the Flames have this has been rough, but you're forcing, I think they made the wrong move trying to get Huberdeau and Weegar to try and quickly fix what they lost. I think that was a risky move. We'll see how it plays out. It could pay huge dividends for the team. But as of right now, I do worry about what they're doing here. Should they have committed to the rebuild in the Tkachuk trade, trying to acquire more draft picks and prospects than aging guys that are on expiring deals? Or should they have gone that route? We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, time will tell on whether this was a good move or not by the Flames and Treliving. This is going to be the hill that Treliving dies and, kind of stands on, because this could be the trade that keeps him in Calgary or ultimately is his downfall. And I guess we'll see what happens. But let me know what you guys think down below. Should they try and flip Huberdeau and Weegar for assets, or should they try and stick it out, stand on that hill, and try and figure it out, hash out a contract before the end of the offseason, and try and figure this out? Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.